It's okay.
Gotta love this card, right? I mean, as those guys are staring off, it's looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's stacked. I mean, even the FX prelims are great too. It's a really good card. Yeah. Really happy with it.
Antonio Silva obviously just got up there on the steering and he put his fist up in his face. Is that thing that we've seen as of late? You know, he got beat up the first time. But he looks pretty confident.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Even his lips are big, man. Everything is big on this guy, man. I was looking at his head and his arms and his hands. He's a big dude. And the thing about you know, heavyweights. Anytime heavyweights get in there, interesting things happen.
Speaking of heavyweight, you look like you lost, what, 25 pounds?
I'm down a little, yeah.
You got a six-pack working?
I don't know about that, but I'm down probably. I'm about 197 now.
Very nice.
From 215.
How much did it stress you out that Mark Hunt had those troubles, and how prepared were you to give Junior another fight or shelve him for a couple weeks?
I mean, to say we weren't stressed would be ridiculous, but, you know, we had thank God he was coming in 3 weeks early, and it wasn't anything bad. It was that he used the wrong passport. His passport that he uses was down in Australia with his wife, so she had to ship him. So when he used the other passport, he filled out a tourist visa. So with the Boston bombings, it's crazy getting in this country right now. And what just happened in London, I'm sure it's going to be even. I mean, it's getting crazier and crazier to travel now. So you know, that's something that's definitely going to be you know, on our radar moving forward, getting guys into the country, making sure that they're. I mean, our team is on it anyway, but you know, the more this horrible type of shit keeps happening, the worse it's going to get.
And especially, I would think you're doing more international shows. Is that going to work in the opposite with the United States? You know, U.S. fighters going other places too?
I don't know. I guarantee it's going to be tougher to get into London now, and England, you know. But I don't. You know, we'll see what happens. But we have a really good team that works on that. I mean, our stuff goes pretty smooth usually, and I was confident he was going to get in.
You brought up Boston really quick, and I just want to touch. We talked in the Bay Area, at the UFC on Fox. You mentioned that you were going to go to Boston. Just wondering if you did that and how it went.
I did, and it was great. Yeah. It was good. It was a great trip.
Care to elaborate a little more, or just?
You know, I underestimated how you know how messed up people were there still, and you know, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. But I got to drop off some money. That's what I went there to do.
How did you see Vitor's Belfort performance in Brazil?
What's that?
How did you see Vitor's performance in Brazil? And is he now a contender?
Yeah, I mean, Vitor looked great. I mean, spinning back kick, he looked awesome.
Is he a top contender now?
He is.
And like his performance was kind of overshadowed by the TRT situation.
Right.
Is he gonna? Do you think that he's gonna fight even like on TRT?
Listen, the whole TRT thing with Vitor has become just this huge. Just people going after Vitor Belfort is what they're doing. There's guys in here that are on TRT. TRT is legal. Everybody knows that. And Vitor Belfort was tested leading all the way up to that fight. He was tested during the fight, and we're waiting for those results to come back. And I'm positive he's going to be fine.
People are talking about like the commissions in all other countries, for example, in Brazil.
Right.
The commission is pretty brand new and like.
Well, it's not brand new. What's happening is it's the same commission that stopped Gustafsson from fighting with that cut in Sweden. Same exact commission.
They're talking like Belfort's doctor is on the board.
That's all conspiracy bullshit. Vitor Belfort followed the rules. He did everything that he was supposed to do. I'm not a fan of TRT. I don't like it, but you know, it's legal right now.
Did you guys test him in addition to the commission, though? Because it sounded like you didn't. I remember you saying, we're going to test the shit out of guys.
Vitor was tested. Vitor was tested leading up to that fight. And believe me, you know, you guys know how Vitor is. Vitor doesn't want this, you know, he's aggravated and pissed off about it. You know, right, John? Yeah. You know, he's aggravated and pissed off about this stuff. He doesn't want his name to be smeared, you know. I don't like TRT. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it at all. And I said, you know, a while ago, these guys were going to be tested. And Vitor was tested. And Vitor followed the rules and did what he was supposed to do.
Would you prefer then?
Where are you gonna put him on a card? Like what place? Because some places like Nevada said that they might have a problem licensing him.
Why would Nevada have a problem licensing him?
Because he was busted before.
Yeah, but he's on TRT. It's not that they're going to have a problem licensing him. They're going to put him. They're going to rake him over the coals, is what they'll do.
Well, they said they might not give him an exemption for the TRTs.
Why wouldn't they give him an exemption?
Because of his past use.
Well, that's up to them. They'll have to go and do a hearing or however they want to do it. But you know, the times that we've done it, he's followed. We're not keeping Vitor out of fighting from anywhere. You know, we had Vitor fight in Brazil because Vitor sells out in Brazil. You know.
So if you're not a fan,
conspiracy fucking crock of shit is what it is. You know what I mean? It's all these, you know, whether it's reporters or fans or whatever that want to go after Vitor. Vitor's on TRT. Everybody knows it. He's, you know, and I dislike TRT, and we are testing guys that are on TRT to make sure they're within the limits and they're not cheating.
So, but if you're not a fan of TRT, then you want these fighters to just stop fighting then, or you know, in a...
Well, you heard somebody posted that I said it to Vitor. I said it to everybody that's on TRT. Maybe if you have to take TRT, you're too old to be fighting still. That's what I said. And I didn't say that to Vitor, I said it to everybody who's on TRT. You know, what I don't like is guys using this TRT exemption as a loophole to get all jacked up during training and then come back to normal levels before the fight. That's what I don't like, and that's what I don't want, and that's why I said we're going to start testing these guys.
And that, at the same time, though, that would mean some of your bigger name properties would be retiring. So then, does that mean that you're going to, you know?
Trust me, don't ever let guys retiring. Don't ever think that that's a reason to, oh, well, we'll let this guy do this or we'll let this guy. There's rules. There's rules. And I heard all the knucklehead reporters who had something to say about the marijuana thing. Some of the dumbest shit, and I've heard some dumb shit from reporters. Some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. There are fucking rules, whether it's TRT, you know, they can get an exemption, whether it's steroids, whether it's diuretics, whether it's pain pills. There's things that are banned substances. And whether you like it or not, marijuana is one of them. And somebody said, they took 90% of his purse. We didn't take fucking zero from his purse. We took 100% of the bonus that he wasn't eligible for. You guys realize that there's a player that plays for LSU football. This guy was supposed to win the Heisman Trophy on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He's fucking done. And he dropped to like number 50 in the draft for marijuana. It's fucking illegal. You can't do it. It's a banned substance. Should it be? I necessarily don't think so. I don't think it's a performance. It doesn't give a shit what I think. It doesn't matter. It's a banned substance. Every fighter knows that you go in and you use marijuana and you get caught, you're busted. Now the commission's going to come in. They took that fight away from him, and he's going to get fined, right, by the commission. He wasn't eligible for that bonus. I know nobody likes Bryan Caraway, right? Bryan Caraway, they don't like him. Boo, Bryan Caraway. Bryan Caraway followed the rules. He had a submission that night, and he followed the rules. He absolutely 100% deserves that bonus. 100% deserves that bonus. What would it say if I gave that kid $130,000 for testing positive for marijuana, and the guy who followed the rules doesn't get it? How does that make sense? So you reporters that had, and if you want to speak up now, any of you that had something to say about it and want to debate this with me, I would fucking love to.
We can tell.
Yes, I would love to.
What are your thoughts on a therapeutic use exemption for marijuana? Would you be okay with that?
It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's illegal. You can't do it in football. You can't do it in basketball. You can't do it here. You can't do it there. And you can't do it with the athletic state commissions where you are involved in combat sports. It's illegal. The other thing is, if you show up to a title fight and you don't make weight, not only do you not get the fucking shot at the title, you don't get, you know, if you win, you still don't win the title, you're also not eligible for bonuses. Does anybody on earth not know this? No, everybody knows it. We didn't take any percentage of his purse. Not one dime. The commission will. I don't know how that's going to turn out. That's up to them. We took 100% of the bonus he wasn't eligible for and gave it to the guy who was eligible for it. Imagine what it would say if I gave that kid $130,000 for not following the rules.
I know Mark Ratner's taken a stand with Nevada and said, you know, hey, I think you guys should consider.
Yeah, and that's what we can do. Yeah. Listen, you guys are being hard on guys with marijuana. There are some cases here, there, everywhere else. it's not legal.
Would you do the flip with testosterone?
How come nobody's going crazy over this kid with the, this kid was the #1 guy in college football. This kid was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He is done, gone, kicked out for marijuana.
Probably because it's such a culture. You know, the NFL's used to it almost, as sad as that is. Which kind of leads me to the next question is...
Well, there's definitely a culture everywhere right now. I would have to say, and this is just my opinion from when I grew up, more people are smoking weed now than ever in the history of I can remember.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't think it's necessarily a cultural thing. I think it would blow your mind if you knew half of you people probably smoke weed. I know he does. But I'm just saying.
Don't test the dirt.
You could have had a much easier target.
But seriously, it's a rule.
But I was going to say, would you ever take the same steps with testosterone? Since you admit you're not a fan of it, would you guys ever go to Nevada and say, hey, can we get rid of these TUEs, man? This is not a good thing for the sport.
Sure, I'm sure I could stroll right in there and have
maybe a representative of yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lorenzo would probably be better at that one. But
would you ever consider that because you're not a fan?
We did do it. Yeah. I've said it publicly too. I'm saying it publicly. Ratner has said it publicly. You know, I mean, we speak for the company as a whole. You know, it's not like, what are you going to do?
Are they looking into it?
I have no idea. Ask you guys when we get done. Call Keith Kaiser and ask him what he's doing. I mean, I don't know. Keith and I don't talk about these things, and I give my opinions. You know, we go through the proper channels. Mark Ratner handles all that stuff.
Well, it does seem to be a problem because everybody focuses on the athletes instead of the commissions, where the athletes are just following the rules that are in place for them.
That's it.
You know,
guys, if you don't follow the rules, bad shit happens.
I mean, the point of this is the rules aren't always fair. I mean,
nothing's fair. Life isn't fair. Smoke a bunch of weed at fucking work and see what happens to you. No matter where you work. I don't care where you work. All right? Unless you work in a place that's selling weed, you're going to get in big fucking trouble for smoking it.
Throughout the history of our sport, though, we've suffered setbacks.
Where's H.E.A.T today? Where is he? Right there at fucking work, and you show up and you're fucking stoned out of your mind. Sorry, guys. I was smoking weed. How's that going to play out? Not good, brother. No matter where you work.
For the record, I've never smoked.
You know,
calm down, Bryan Caraway.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, speaking of the whole Bryan Caraway thing and breaking the rules, Nate's tweet got him in a lot of trouble. Is it a zero-tolerance policy in terms of the tweet words and the words you can't say, and whether or not the spirit of the word was this or that?
I am fed up with the bullshit. And one thing that I have noticed is money makes people fucking react real quick. You know, sorry's great. I love a sorry here and there. Sorries are always good, you know, but it's easy to say sorry. But when you got to start forking out some cash, you start remembering a lot more, you know? And just so you know, too, I saw a lot of things online and things being said about when I used that word. Do you think that I didn't pay in a million different ways for saying that word? The difference is I'm actually really sorry for saying it, okay? I am not a homophobe whatsoever, okay? We were just driving here. Just right now when me and Elliot were driving here, there was a sticker on the back of this lady's car, and it said, "Who are you to tell me who I can love?" And I say that all the time, like, the government to tell people, you know, that this guy doesn't love this guy, this girl doesn't, right? When I said it, I have people that work for us that are gay, I have friends that are gay. You know, it is a word that bothers them, and it's a word that shouldn't be said. I had the same argument that Nate had, and I don't disagree with that argument in that I grew up in the 80s, okay? I grew up in the 80s. That was a word you used. If you go back and you watch 16 Candles, that word is in 16 Candles. You know, Molly Ringwald says it to Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Farmer Ted.
Huh?
Farmer Ted. That's his character.
Yeah, okay. Right? And then I was watching another 80s movie the other day where, like, these little kids are saying it, and it's just, that's the way it was. Well, it's not that way anymore. It's an offensive word that they don't like, you know, and people want to call it, oh, we're bowing down to political correctness, or we're doing this and that. No, we're not. We're being civil human beings is what we're being. There's a group of people that doesn't like that word. Okay, then don't say it. You know, it's an offensive word. Even if though you're not directing it towards, because neither was I in my rant or whatever you want to call it. I wasn't directing it toward gay people, but it was a word that bothers gay people, you know?
Well, and the thing is, it goes around. I mean, Sergio Garcia just, said he was going to serve Tiger with some fried chicken. So people say some stupid stuff on Twitter.
Right, it's things, it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen every day. But let me tell you what, when you get fined, Matt Mitrione, like, dude, are you serious? This is what it's going to, that's what it's going to cost you.
But I always got the feeling you like Nate, though.
Huh?
I always got the feeling you like Nate Diaz.
I like Nate Diaz very much. I like Matt Mitrione. The people that I don't like, I make it very clear who I don't like. I like both those guys. I like Nate very much. But Nate messed up.
Dana, where are you at overall in terms of satisfaction with the new code of conduct? Is it still a work in progress, or you feel like you've got it where you want it?
I think this whole business and this whole sport is always a work in progress, but yeah, I like the direction we're going in now.
Are managers being taught to it all? Because it seems like in some instances they're making things maybe worse instead of better.
Yeah. To answer that question perfectly for you, managers are scared shitless of their clients. You understand what I'm saying? No manager wants to come out and go, he was stupid to say that. You know what I mean? You're one phone call away from not working for that guy anymore. So take what managers say. Managers don't matter. How's that? Let me put that one out there. I don't give a shit what they have to say or what they think or whatever. They're puppets.
Coming from a former manager.
Yeah, exactly. I was a puppet too.
In this most recent case with Nate, you guys disclosed the length of his penalty and the money involved. In Mitrione's case, you didn't. Going forward, is that going to be standard now, disclosure?
Say that again?
In going forward now, is it going to be the case where you disclose the penalty like you did with Nate?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, you did.
I think Nate did.
No, you did.
We did? I don't know.
It was on UFC.com.
Sure.
So you will?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Sounds good.
Dana, MMA in New York.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
There's the smear campaign that was going on, and now there's a website that the UFC has put out. What can you tell us about that website?
Oh yeah, so now we put out a website, and we'll give you weekly updates on the culinary union, what they're doing, how bad they suck, and things like that. And yeah, it's just, you know what, we put up with their shit for a long time, and now we're gonna give it back to them.
Have you heard about the sex scandal going on with Sheldon Silver and the possibility that some New Yorkers are calling for his resignation?
I did not.
Yeah, there's actually $103,000 that he spent to cover up.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Assemblyman's
I did hear about that. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
sounds like a good guy to work for.
Do you think that if he did step down, that maybe it would help pave the way to get?
There's no. If he stepped down, it'll be in tomorrow. Yeah.
And it's been a couple months now with code of conduct policy. Obviously, Mitrione and also Nate kind of run afoul of that. Do you think creating that would kind of stop this kind of thing from happening?
What's
the code of conduct would have stopped? Now that the guys have these rules in front of them, knowing what not to do, and then you got two guys going against the rules. Do you think the policy would have prevented this in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. I like the direction we're going in. And like I said, everybody was all pissed off after the Mitrione thing. And I said, believe me, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So when you start getting fined and it costs you money, you stop and think before you do stuff.
And maybe it hasn't become public, but behind the scenes, have other people, other fighters have been fined that hasn't come forward?
No. Everyone has been public. Yeah, I don't hide too much.
Are you surprised that Nate hasn't come out and apologized?
You know what? The one thing that I don't ever do, this is the thing that I don't like. You're never going to hear that I went and said, you better apologize. You don't tell grown men to apologize. You're either sorry for doing it or you're not. That's why this new policy is, I don't give a shit if you're sorry or not, you're getting fined. Maybe it'll make you a little more sorry for saying it, or a little smarter not to say it next time. But you can't tell. That's one of the things that I just don't believe in. Like a guy coming out and saying, I'm sorry for saying, but he's not sorry. He's doing it because the company made him do it. People who are really sorry and want to say they're sorry, okay, But I'm not going to tell grown men to apologize if they're really not sorry. It's not. What's the point? It's not real. If it's not sincere, then won't do it.
Anderson Silva has a big fight coming up, obviously, against Chris Weidman. Has there been some movement on him signing a longer contract, another contract with you?
Silva?
Yeah.
It's been done.
Yeah.
It's done.
So it's 10 fights?
10-fight deal.
How many of those do you expect you'll actually get?
I don't know. You know, I don't know. Who knows? You know, how long was I, you know, that other guy that used to be here that was old that used to fight, I used to say he was going to be done. You know, who knows?
What's the science behind signing a deal of that length? Is it just to ensure that, you know, you get him until he retires, or what's the thought behind signing for 10 fights?
I didn't do it. We wanted to sign him to a 6 or 8 fight deal. He said let's do it. He said let's do a 10-fight deal.
Did he explain why?
He's Anderson Silva.
Dude likes fighting.
He's the Black Dana White.
Yeah, that's right. He's the Black Dana White. He wants to be here longer. I don't know. You know, we have that crazy relationship with Anderson. You know, but he's a fun guy and he wants to be here. Why would he not want to be here? He's doing okay.
There's been a lot of talk about UFC contracts in the past couple weeks. Obviously, John Cholish was very outspoken before he retired. There was a Bleacher Report article, I believe, or an expert.
John Cholish, I know. I've seen all the stuff that's going on with him. What's scary is this guy wasn't good enough to fight in the UFC. I'm wondering if he's good enough to be on Wall Street. I mean, this guy has to be the biggest moron I've ever seen in my life. He's talking about taxes. Yes, Wall Street guy, you have to pay taxes. So do I. When we go down to Brazil and do a fight, I pay taxes in Brazil too, and Sweden, and all these other countries, and states. Pay taxes in every state that we go to. You know what I mean? And so what happens is when you're down in Brazil, there was a letter that was sent out that he put out today that said, you know, it's obviously pretty tough to cash a check down in Brazil. The money will be wired into your account. And, you know, he put that up. He doesn't understand that, and he doesn't understand that he has to pay taxes. And you work on Wall Street? You know, it's just.
I guess he was questioning like what lower level people make, the fact that, you know, they
signed a fucking contract. Right. He signed a contract. He got the same opportunity that George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, Johnny Bones Jones, Cain Velasquez, and the list goes on and on. The unfortunate part of this business is some of you are good enough to be here and some of you are not. That's life. That's life, Cholish. Unfortunately, that is life, my friend. You weren't good enough to be here. Hopefully you're good enough to stick around on Wall Street. Because if you don't know what fucking taxes are, I got a funny feeling you're not.
There was an article on Bleacher Report that kind of went through the UFC contract as well. They had somebody, a labor expert, look at it.
First of all, Lorenzo's gone. Lorenzo did an hour-and-a-half interview with ESPN about fighter pay. I mean, the fighter pay thing, we went through the thing, you know, the other day with fighter pay. Fighter pay has been beat over the head to death. You know what I mean? If you don't like what you're getting paid here, if you don't want to be here, don't fucking sign a contract with us. And I can tell you this, John Cholish was paid discretionary bonuses even when he lost. You know? What do you want me to do? Guy is delusional, not too fucking bright, and what do you want me to say to that? I mean, I don't even know how to answer that question, other than the guy lost, he's not good enough to be here, and he's apparently not too bright.
What did you make of the rumors of the incident between Bryan Caraway and Kat Zingano? There was an alleged rumor that Caraway elbowed Kat. What went through your head when you heard that?
Actually, I talked to Kat about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she said what happened was that she was sitting down at medicals. Somebody walked by and something hit her in the back of the head. She turned around, looked, and it was Bryan Caraway. And, you know, she said, I was sitting there. I don't know if he bumped into me or if he, you know, it was on purpose or it wasn't on purpose. She said other people said they saw it and he did do it on purpose, but those people wouldn't say it to the media. You know, this is the fight business, you know? And you get some people in here that are not very nice sometimes, you know? And you get people that, you know, what do you want me to do? You want me to go grab Bryan Caraway and say, did you elbow Kat Zingano in the head? You know, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. These kind of things happen. I mean, she should have turned around and said, hey, did you just fucking elbow me in the head? You know what I mean? Or her camp should have said it. You know what? You know, and then something would have happened and whatever would have happened, happened. But I mean, I don't know what to do about that.
Maybe you could add lie detector tests to the drug test.
Can we use it on you and matchups and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Next time we bring up Vadim.
Yeah. Speaking of matchups, the Boston show is starting to come together. We've got Alistair Overeem and Travis Brown. What else are we going to be seeing that night?
Well, I'm waiting for this Saturday night, and I will announce the main event next week.
Because I know, Chael, I talked to him about fighting Vanderlei, and that, that's an exciting fight. We know Boston, there's a ton of Brazilians there. That would be a really exciting fight, but what happened with that?
I agree. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing happened with it. But that was never, we never said this is going to be the fight. That was an internet rumor. I probably have 4 options right now. 4 options right now. I want to see what happens on Saturday and give me a couple more options. I like options, so I want to wait a couple days. I wanted to get it done this week, but I couldn't get it done this week.
And will we have some involvement? I know there's a Patriots preseason game that day or something. Like what?
It's going to be insane. So we got the Patriots game on Friday, which is on Fox, and then the day of the fight are the Red Sox and the Yankees. And yeah, we're doing some cool stuff for that fight. It's going to be awesome, man. I'm so pumped for that launch of that network. It's going to be fun.
Dana, what are you doing with Gilbert Melendez? And have you spoke to him recently?
Haven't talked to him since the fight. No. Usually when guys, after they fight, and especially a fight like that, you give them some time to go home, relax, and unless the guy starts blowing you up and says, "Get me back in there." Quick.
Were you surprised that he didn't say, "Get me back in there"? I want a rematch immediately, given how close the fight was.
I don't know. I mean, but that's Ben Henderson, though. I mean, those are his fights. I mean, that's every one of Ben Henderson's fights. No Ben Henderson fight ends and you're like, holy shit, Ben Henderson won that one. You know what I mean? You're like, this is going to be another fucking scary one.
Well, because you announced the #1 contender match after the fight, and after the press conference had ended, but when you were asked during the press conference, you didn't give an answer. I'm wondering, had Gilbert said, I want this rematch right away, would you have been inclined to give him it right away as opposed to waiting for this one?
Probably not, no.
Lazy's next question is about Nate Diaz and if he's going to fight Carlos Condit, right, Lazy?
I don't know. There's been some rumors of that. I'd be interested in knowing that, too. What do you think about that one? Dana, thanks, Karyn.
Dana, what's the bantamweight picture looking like now with Hanan Barao injured and Dominic obviously not in?
We're going to do an interim to the interim.
Right, that's what I was wondering, in fact.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
Is there any?
And you know what the thing is with ligament damage? It's almost worse than a break. Ligaments take a long time to heal, and we'll see what happens.
Is there any timetable for his return that's set?
I have no idea.
Did you have him look at UFC doctors at all?
Not yet. No.
Dana, just finished Bruce Buffer's book. So you were in the elevator when he and Frank Trigg fought?
Yes, I was there.
Can you tell your?
It is true. It happened. Frank Trigg was talking to me. Bruce Buffer came over and leaned in to say something or whatever. Look at my watch, he said, or whatever, and he chopped him in the neck, like karate chopped him in the neck and hard, not like, Frank Trigg chopped Bruce Buffer in the throat, and then it was literally, it happened so fast. It was just like he chopped him in the neck, and then boom, they just started punching. And I was like, holy shit! I literally went like this. Whoop! I stepped back, up against the wall, and just. 10 floors just watching these two punch the shit out of each other.
He said that you and Lorenzo were standing and enjoying the fight?
I don't know if Lorenzo was there. I was there with somebody. Oh, it was Tom Page, yeah, my old security guy.
You said you were having fun, like watching them fight?
Yeah, I stepped back and said, holy shit, these two are blasting the shit out of each other. And then when we got to the bottom floor and the doors open, they like stopped and they're both kind of pissed, and then they started laughing, and I believe Buffer had been cut by the watch and had to go get stitches from being cut by Trigg's watch.
He was holding Frank in a choke when the thing almost ended and then the doors were open.
I don't remember chokes, man. All I remember is those two were blasting the living shit out of each other. I mean, it's not like they were just like goofing around punching. They were punching each other.
I think Goldberg was there too.
And I was just like, holy shit, this is happening right now.
Frank said you and him were talking about money, and he said, don't come and interrupt me when I'm talking about money. That's why he had to stop.
Dude, seriously, I don't remember anything except those two just punching the shit out of each other for the whole elevator ride. They're grown men, and you don't chop a guy in the fucking throat, man. And hey, props for Buffer. Most guys would have said, hey, what are you doing, Frank? That was mean. Buffer started blasting with him.
So you don't care that employees are fighting each other?
No, I mean, of course I do, but hey, it happened, man. It was in the moment, it happened, and
it was Trigg.
Yeah.
It was Trigg.
Speaking of employees fighting each other, a good fight for Jacare last weekend. People are, the idea of Jacare versus Okami is kind of appealing. This is somebody who, got introduced to the UFC the other night, had a great win. He's been fighting for Strikeforce for a long time. Where do you see somebody like him? Because certainly the middleweight picture right now, depending on what happens with Anderson and Chris, but the middleweight picture is we got some new blood in there, some very good blood.
That fight will happen.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
Which way?
You nailed that one.
Okami and Jacare.
Jacare.
Sweet.
Is that signed, or are you still working on that?
I'm sure we're still working on it. I probably just fucked it up and blew it. That's the fight we're going to make.
Any targeting date or event for that?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Oh.
No.
Take that, Brendan Shaw.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any updates on by Mark Hunt ran for you guys?
How's the what?
How surprising has Mark Hunt's ran?
Incredible, man. You know what's funny? Last night, I'm sure this happens to you guys too. Last night I'm at home and it's like 10:30 and I go, I gotta jump on the internet and check something out on YouTube. It's like 10:30. I get on YouTube and I watch this thing and I go, oh, what the fuck? I click 2:30. I get off the computer. You know, I was on there from 10:30 to 2:30 and I must have watched 7 or 8 Mark Hunt fights last night from K1 and Pride, and it's amazing at his age and what he's been able to accomplish, especially the story that goes behind it, that we didn't want him. You know, we said, here, we'll just buy your Pride contract out and pay you not to fight, and he's like, I want to fight and I want to earn it and I want to, you know, and he comes in and does what he did.
What were your thoughts behind that? Wanting to pay him off? And not wanting him as a fighter?
He had more losses than wins, and it was on a horrible streak. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, we bought the company, and Pride did fights like that. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. Did you kind of view him as, it's kind of not fair, but as a freak show fighter?
I wouldn't say as a freak show.
Right.
But Pride didn't look at things the way that we do. And we just felt that it didn't fit. And what guy would say no to just getting paid and not fighting? You know, he would have been paid and free and clear to do whatever he wanted to do, and he said no.
You had to admire that.
I don't admire that. Absolutely, positively respect it, and what he's been able to accomplish. I think it's one of the greatest stories in sports right now. You know, I really do. It's unbelievable.
Dave, is there any updates on the gloves?
Yeah, it's funny you asked me that, because I was actually, before I came here, I had like 6 pairs of gloves on before I left. First and foremost, guys need to close their hands. Okay, 13 years we've had the same gloves. You know, close your friggin' hands. Stop poking people in the eyes. Number 1. Number 2, we're looking at the gloves that make your hands go like this. You know, curve them where it'd be really hard to extend your fingers and poke somebody in the eye.
So they would still be open-fingered, but naturally curved.
Yeah, you got to have open-fingered gloves.
Yeah, right, for the grip.
I mean, there's still going to be situations where guys will have their hands like this and they reach out and you can still come down a guy's eye. It's just, close your hands. You don't have to have your hands wide open to block punches.
Would this be kind of like the Pride gloves? Or have you looked at those?
More like the Shudo gloves.
Okay, yep. And how long would it take for that to be?
We're working on it. I mean, you have to come up with the design that you like. You got creating new gloves is a huge process. I mean, when we did the gloves in the beginning, they came in and they had material that was sewn here, and it was kind of sharp on the corner, and that could stick in your eye. How do we get that out of here, but still keep the, you know, the integrity of the glove? Because the last thing you want to in a fight is a glove busting open. So there's just so many different things that you have to do to get a new glove. But we're on it.
The original shooter glove that's round. Don't make the hand go down, but you still have the fingers.
No,
It's round.
no, you're talking about old school, like Bruce Lee.
No. The original shooter glove was the rounded one. That had
Yeah,
the buzz.
that's what. So winning actually makes a Shudo glove.
Yeah.
You know, winning, they're like the best boxing gloves you can get. They're like the friggin' Mercedes of boxing gloves. So, you know, we got some of those today, and we were looking at those too. But even when you look at the traditional Shudo gloves, when you close, they have this thing that covers the thumb, but the thumb still pops out right here. But if you lay it down in here, there's a piece that comes out, and it's literally square. That was designed to protect the thumb. Not good. I mean, there's just so many. It's tough to design a glove but we're working on it.
Do you have any update on GSP Hendricks?
GSP Hendricks, yes. George St. Pierre and I talked. Remember I kept telling you guys, like, at the last 30 press conferences I was going to talk to George St. Pierre? I talked to him like 2 days ago. And he's going to call me back. He's going to call me back, I think today, he said. Today or tomorrow, he and I will talk.
Do you have a date that you want, maybe Toronto?
No, we haven't, you know, probably in the fall.
And the Hendricks fight, obviously, is the one that you're looking to book with him.
Hendricks what?
Hendricks and GSP.
Yep. That's what they just asked me.
Oh, I couldn't hear all
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No.
So you've been traveling, you've been to Ireland, Germany lately. Are you looking to do some fights there? I know you've been there before, but not for a while. So are you looking to open up more European spots as well?
We're going to do a fight in Ireland coming up soon here within the next year. And I was in Germany for the ear stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, you know, Gary Cook has a lot of good stuff going on over there.
Do you pay attention to other worldwide organizations? I know there's EFC in Africa. I actually know Ruan Potts, who was the heavyweight champion, and I'm wondering how much do you go and fish around through other organizations around the world to try to bring some of these guys in to grow the sport, with names, local names.
Joe and Sean do.
Yeah.
I don't. I used to do that back in the day. I don't do that anymore. Nope. Nope.
Conor McGregor, what's next for him?
He's fighting in Boston.
Got an opponent? Yeah, you named an opponent?
Yep. I can't tell you guys before I tell Fox. I gotta tell Fox first. So I
step up in competition though, presumably a bigger name.
Yeah, I mean, not like nothing crazy. I mean, we're not gonna throw the kitchen sink at this kid yet. He won one fight, Let's give the kid a shot here.
Well, he's already calling for he wants both titles at 45, 55.
I love this kid.
I love
this kid. I love him. I love his attitude. I love his fighting style. He's great, man. So, yeah.
We can wait a minute if you want to make a call.
Yeah.
Yeah. To who? Fox?
Yeah. We'll just get the call. And in all seriousness, Karyn did bring up Nick and Carlos Condit. Carlos was vocal about saying that he was interested in the rematch. Is that a fight that you'd look to put together?
So Carlos called out Nick. And Nick said he wants to fight Carlos too?
We haven't heard from Nick yet, but I mean,
Let me text him.
If he were to say he would be interested in the rematch.
I thought he was a retired promoter now. Is that not the case?
What's your thoughts on that?
Good for him. Yeah. Welcome to the losing money business.
Just make sure to pay your taxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But would you be open to the rematch if Nick was on board?
Sure.
Cool. Dana, what were you doing with Dan Severn?
What's that? He just popped into the office. There's some guy in town that he does business with, and he'd never seen the UFC offices before, so he came in and I'm not going to tell Dan Severn no. So I gave him the tour, hung out with him. He's a good guy, and that's it.
Dana, if Nick did come out of retirement, would you have to talk to him about his promotion? I mean, that kind of a conflict of interest to be a fighter and a promoter at the same. I mean, obviously it's not direct competition, but
no, I don't know. I mean, there's been guys who have promoted shows before that fight for us,
Josh Salmon has won a promotion in Florida,
And Tito was doing it for a while. So, like I said, you want to lose money? Come on in the business. It's fun. It looks fun from the outside,
What are your thoughts on the addition of Josh Barnett, and do you have any ideas of what'll be next for him and when?
Well, I think Josh Barnett is a good example of what we were talking about earlier with contracts and stuff. Josh Barnett, we tried to come to a deal with him and we couldn't come to a deal with him, And he went out, he shopped around, and we ended up making a deal with him. It's just like Rampage, Czech Congo, Rampage wanted to leave. Okay. I mean, this business is hard enough without being in business with guys that don't want to work with you, or you don't want to work with them, or whatever the deal is. You can mutually agree to go your own way, and no harm done, no hurt feelings. And we couldn't come to a deal with Czech Congo before his last fight. He lost his last fight, so he moved on. And it's the business, man. It's the way things go. But Josh had the opportunity to shop around, talk to other people, and another thing. So Volkman, talking about how bad our insurance sucks, right? Fucking interesting. Is it better than fucking Bellator's? Is it better than World Series of Fighting? Is it better than Top Ranks? No promoter in the history of the world. $1,500 deductible? Blow your fucking knee out. You'll be fucking pumped to pay a $1,500 deductible. You moron. I just want to throw that one in there.
How quickly could we see Josh in action?
Huh?
How quickly could we see Josh in action?
Well, he wants a full camp. He hasn't fought in a while, and his hand was hurt from the Cormier fight. So, whenever we can set up a fight in time for him to have a full camp.
Can you explain the Roy Nelson situation? Why he's fighting so quickly against Miocic?
He's on the last fight of his deal. and we owe him a fight before his deal is up.
You had to get him on that card, or by a certain amount of time, or else.
Right.
You have to.
Right. He's not giving us any extensions.
Right. But are you interested in still signing him afterwards?
Yeah. We have an offer out to Roy.
Is he giving you trouble?
Come on, Roy. Would he give us trouble?
But that's not the fight you wanted for him, right? After
No.
his win, we weren't talking about that. We were talking about
Right. Yeah, he was going to go in a different direction. But he's so fucking smart. He's smarter than everybody else. So let him figure it out.
If he beats someone like Miocic, he has a pretty good win streak under his belt. So
Who?
If he beats Miocic
Yeah,
and
it's true.
So does he come?
Listen, and if we end up that we can't do business together, then Roy can go do business somewhere else.
But you want to sign?
Yeah, we made an offer to him.
Okay. He's gonna wait till after though.
Yeah, listen, Roy's the smartest guy on earth. He's a fucking genius, this guy. So he'll figure out whatever his best path is, and it'll be good, I'm sure.
Any comments on Matt Serra retiring?
Yeah, you know, when he did it, I called him up after, and I said, why wouldn't you tell me you were retiring, and I would have brought you out to Vegas, and we could have, you know, da-da-da. He said, you know what, I was talking to my buddy from Newsday, and we were talking about fighting, and it just sort of evolved into my retirement, you know, and he says, I'm cool with this, I'm happy, and you couldn't meet a fucking better guy than Matt Serra. You couldn't meet a more stand-up, loyal guy than Matt Serra. He's awesome, man. And the crazy thing about like a Matt Serra, he's been with us since UFC 30, you know? And he's had some good times, some bad times, one of the biggest upsets ever in UFC history. He's had a great career, you know? So, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I love the guy, and, you know, I'm happy for him.
Any update on Dan Hardy?
Yeah, Dan Hardy is taking that second opinion, so... Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I want to jump back to Barnett really quick. You talked about Serra being a tenured fighter. Barnett's one of the originals. Now you guys had your up and downs, but now that he's signed, now that he's on the board,
UFC 31, I think.
Yeah, now that he's on the board, how good does it feel, especially with kind of the heavyweight division being wide open, to have a guy like Barnett?
Yeah, I mean, Barnett's been one of the best in the world for 13 years. I mean, longer maybe. I don't know. You know, like I said about him last time, he's one of these guys who's always been, you know, marches to the beat of his own drum and does what he wants to do. And it's worked for him. I mean, he seems happy. He doesn't seem, you know, like he feels like he made any wrong decisions. And even when we're, you know, negotiating the new contract, he's like, let me go look around for a while and I'll come back. And he did.
It seems like one of those things that you kind of respect that, though. It seems with you, and I don't want to speak out of turn or anything, but you kind of respect the hard-headed people a little bit more.
No,
I don't know
that's
if
not true. We're all men and women. We're all men and women
Maybe
here.
it's the honesty?
We all have to choose our own paths in life. If a guy tells me, and we all pick teams. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, we all end up picking teams, and we choose the paths that we walk down, right? And there's been guys in the past that said, you know, that I've called out to, and I've said, hey, listen, I'd love to have you in the UFC. You know, this is what we're doing, big things over here, you know, the whole fucking, you know, and guys are like, dude, no fucking way, man. I'm getting paid cash in Japan. I don't have to pay taxes. I got a good gig going on over here. Good luck to you. Do your thing. And these are the same guys that are coming back to me now going, dude, what's up? Why can't I? You chose your path. You picked a team. You chose your path. You chose the direction that you wanted to go in your career and in your life. If shit didn't work out, that's not my fault. You know? I'm definitely that guy. You know what I mean? Yep. I'm that guy. And there's guys that are like, and you see how the guys that were with me, in the dark days when we didn't know what was going to happen.
Hughes, Tito, Chuck, BJ.
They're doing very well. You know? These guys are doing very well.
How excited are you for the beginning of Tough 18 and filming starting pretty soon? Are you nervous at all?
No, I'm always excited when we start Tough, and you know, I love it. It's fun. It's this year's going to be interesting, obviously, because the women, first time we've ever done the women, but men and women living in the house together. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited.
Well, plus when people saw Cat Zingano's fight, I think a lot of people probably went, damn.
When people what?
We saw Cat Zingano fight.
Yeah.
I mean, and so now, you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, Ronda,
Right.
you know, now you've exactly, and nothing against Liz Carmouche, but a lot of people are saying Kat is the one who could maybe take her down.
Yeah.
How do they get along? Do you know?
You know, I think it's one of those things where, you know, they're obviously competitors, but they respect each other. They don't. It's not like Misha and Ronda. I mean, that's about as bad of a relationship as you could get. So, I think they respect each other, but I think it's going to be a lot like Sonnen and Jones. Yeah, I think it'll be like that. Competitive, some digs here and there, but you know, no crazy shit. Yep.
Earlier you talked about Belfort returning to contender status. Is the official plan to wait for the Silva Weidman winner to match Belfort, or is there something else in place?
You know, there's no plans right now with Vitor. He just fought, so you know, we'll see what happens. Again, we got another fight this weekend. We'll see what happens. But I mean, yeah. Actually, now that it really sinks in what you just said, you know, it would make sense for those two to fight, and that's not far away. Those two fight, and we see what happens. Or Vitor could fight again. I don't know, but he could fight either one of those guys.
So you don't have anybody else in mind for Vitor at this period of time?
Not right now.
Dana, look into the fight card Saturday night. Obviously, heavyweight title on the line. Right underneath that, heavyweight contenders match. After all these years of promoting fights, do you find it's helping you now when you have these fight cards where multiple questions can be answered within the same weight division on one night in terms of where you're going past Saturday?
Like tournament style?
Well, that there's going to be a heavyweight title on the line, but also we may determine a #1 contenders match. Just whenever possible, is it helpful that works out?
Well, even if that didn't happen, I mean, we probably would have had a fight before this that would have determined who was going to be next to fight him anyway. But yeah, it's always pretty cool when two guys, you know, I'm not saying this is what we're doing, but I'm just throwing this out there. Like I'm talking about Fox Sports 1. Whichever heavyweight wins each fight, maybe you could do that on Fox. You know, there's things like that could happen if they fight the same night, depending on injuries and all the other. I mean, look at John Jones. I could have turned John Jones around real quick after his last fight. He friggin' pops his toe. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen.
Well, and it seems like it also, as much as you can have an insurance policy against injuries, that it helps with that too. If somebody drops out, you've got a contenders match and a co-main right below it, and maybe promote somebody up. Is that just something you kind of keep in the back? Maybe something you've learned, you know, putting matches together and cards together?
To be honest with you, we really don't think about stuff like that. I mean, especially after last year, the shit we went through last year, what we focus on is building the best card we can possibly build, you know? And you're never gonna, our style of matchmaking is, maybe everybody doesn't like Cain Velasquez versus, you know, Bigfoot Silva. Well, maybe you like Mark Hunt and Junior Dos Santos. And if you don't like that, maybe you like the TJ Gray Maynard fight. If you don't like that, maybe you love Glover Teixeira and Tahuna. And if you don't like that, how the hell could you not like KJ Noons and Donald Cerrone? You know what I mean? So that's really the way that we build cards. We build cards so that we want every fight to matter.
James,
and there's a little something for everybody.
Since you mentioned John Jones, did he tell you when he'll be ready to fight again?
Yeah, so we talked yesterday too, and you know, his thing is he says he feels great, toes healing good, but the problem was that ligament. You know, that ligament popped, and you just, anywhere you tear ligaments, blood flow helps the thing repair itself and heal, and you don't get a lot of blood flow to the toe, and it's just, who knows? This thing could be 6 weeks, it could be 6 months.
Jeez.
Pain in the ass, man. Always some little crazy thing, you know.
When will you have a better idea? I'm assuming
he had to go to Russia. He's in Russia right now.
Just tweeted a picture with him and Fedor.
Did he really? Yeah. So he's in Russia. And then when he gets back, he is getting an MRI done on his toe again, which I think is Monday. Cool?
All right.
You done with me? No? What do you got, bro?
Xbox One was just revealed earlier this week, and the first images of the UFC video game on EA Sports came out. I'm going to kind of get your take on the game if you're excited about it. How you see it?
Yeah, EA Sports is pumped about this title. They put this title up there with FIFA. you know, because it's a global brand. As big as Madden is, as big as that game is, and as awesome as that game is, I love that game. I play that game with my kids all the time. This is a game that actually reaches all around the world. So we're one of their big titles. And you know, Microsoft is treating us great. Xbox, EA, it's going to be good stuff, man. I mean, a lot of our fans are hardcore gamers. They're going to be pumped when they see this game. The stuff that these guys are working on, the stuff that they've shown us already, and it's not even anywhere near being done. And the stuff that they've shown us already is pretty cool. I don't know who's going to be on the cover. You know, and a lot of the times what we do is we, you know, if you're in England, maybe Bisping's on the cover. If you're in Brazil, Anderson Silva's on the cover. If you're in the United States, somebody's on the cover. And if you're in, you know, over here, over there, who knows? I mean, we'll see how that all plays out. But one thing that I hope I'm not blowing anything here, which I normally do, there's going to be a fan vote on who gets the cover in the United States.
You know, you have a new record, new TV deal for Mexico and Latin America. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, you know we got it, right? Yeah. We're on Televisa this weekend?
Yeah. Are you happy with that?
I'm super happy.
How many more eyeballs does that mean?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that question. I'll find out for you though. I'll get it to you.
Is that a long-term deal or just for this fight?
It's a good question too. Don't know the answer to that one either.
What are the odds for Cain Velasquez to defend finally in Mexico?
What are the odds for what?
For Cain Velasquez to finally defend in Mexico if he wins.
Yeah, I would love that. We want that. I have a feeling we'll be in Houston, Texas with him if he defends before we're in Mexico, though.
What's been the holdup with Mexico?
Huh?
What's been the holdup with Mexico? Just
tough place to navigate,
yeah,
man.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy place to get in and do business if you're
different stuff going
an American company. Yeah. Yep. It's a tough place to navigate. Tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Would his next fight be in Houston if he wins?
Probably. Yeah.
In a stadium or in an arena?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, going to Houston. It's not like I got some big, plans. But if we go to Houston, he will fight in Houston.
And do you have any more information on the UK deal? The TV deal.
As far as what?
The TV deal.
As far as what?
Well, the
people are bitching, saying they're not going to be able to get this. I know. Some guy tweeted me a thing the other day. He's like, "Here's the pamphlet, and it's all soccer. They don't say anything about the UFC and all this stuff." And again, Gary Cook's handling that stuff.
It's a favorable deal. They're worried that
better deal than we had last time. We got a deal. We're on TV in the UK. The people in the UK are going crazy, saying, "You guys are fucking." Are you serious? Do you think that we don't want the best television deal we can get in the UK? They've got a monopoly over there. There's a monopoly going on there. You just don't it's not like you got, in the United States, 1,000 channels that you can go to and, you can do a deal with. There's one big dog over there.
Sky.
Mm-hmm.
You had a deal with them like in the early 2000s, right?
We had a deal with them right when we went on. We ran the stuff on TV. It rated through the roof. We killed it.
What happened? Did they not want to do a deal? Did you try to?
The guy who is the guy who runs the whole show over there does not like the sport. The
new guy.
And no, it's the guy that's been there since then.
Really?
Yeah, doesn't like the sport.
Do you want to create a website for him?
I'm used to it, man. It's just I don't get fired up about that stuff anymore. We're on a great network here. We're on great networks all around the world. The UK has been tough, and listen, we're busting ass. The UK fans bitch about everything over there. We're busting our ass over there. I mean, we have an office there. We've had an office there for fucking years, right? Cranking over there trying to make this thing happen. I mean, I don't know what else we could do. Except storm Sky with torches and overthrow.
Yeah, exactly.
That is Fox.
Huh?
That is Fox.
What'd you say?
Sky is Fox.
I know, but the guy who runs it over there, has kicked ass with that business. He makes a lot of money over there, meaning makes a lot of money for the company. They're not going to go in and override him. Basically what happened. It would be like It would be like me not wanting to do something. Like I was absolutely opposed to doing something, and people at my company trying to tell me, no, you're going to do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Wouldn't happen.
So, what are you going to do? We do the best we can do over there. We got an office there. We're spending shitloads of money in that market. We keep bringing live fights there. We keep trying to get the best TV deals we can get, and that's all we can do. Cool?
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.